I'll be back
Okay.
for sure.
Okay. Okay. That sounds great. So mentorship versus sponsorship. Um, who can tell me the difference, if you know the difference between mentorship and sponsorship? Now it's only Lacey and Vanetta, so
We're waiting for somebody else to
that's
say
easy.
something. So, so I always thought that um, sponsoring involved um, some financial um, responsibility,
Hmm.
and
There it
mentoring
is. She
was
did
more
it.
encouraging person to move forward.
Okay. 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 Did you have a thought on that, Lacey?
I would say sponsorship can go either way. You're either guiding someone or it's usually money based. And then mentorship, you're leading them through life.
Okay. Okay. So the definition of mentor is someone, Chris, I don't know if you're there, but I'm on slide 2. If you're advancing.
Okay. I
Thank you.
I think it's going to take me there. Oh, okay. Let
There
me
you go.
know if you see
Okay.
something. All right.
We do. We
Okay.
got it. We are cooking with gas. So a mentor is someone who shares knowledge and provides guidance, right? So if we think of what Lacey just shared before we started this workshop, she said, I need some guidance on how to communicate. I need I need to learn to say things differently. So what she's basically saying is I need a mentor, right? Someone who shares knowledge and provides guidance. I immediately said to her, Lacey, I can help you with that. So that puts me in the mentor seat. And then a sponsor is defined as someone who actively promotes growth, provides access to opportunities at work, and advocates for career advancement. So in my role here at PNC, I am a senior vice president working in our care center. So if let's just say we're hiring and someone said, wow, Laura, I'm really interested. I've got a good resume. I want to send it in. I get an opportunity to be a sponsor because then I would say, well, send me your resume. I would then forward that to my recruiting team and say, hey, here's an individual who I think would add value to our company. So that allows me to be a sponsor because I'm a leader in the company. I can be influential and I can advocate. And I can't get the job for you, man. You got to come to the interview and show up, and something else I can help you with because I do a lot of interview preparation. But I can't promise you the job. But what I can be is what I can do is advocate for your career advancement. So you've probably heard the saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So when you know
Hmm.
people, right? Or, for instance, think about it, just make it very basic. If you go to a restaurant, if you know someone that is the owner, right? They're gonna say, hey, I need you to take care of Lacey. I need you to take care of Vanetta because those are my friends. Okay. So you automatically get a leg up because you kind of know the person. So that's the difference. A mentor will give you guidance. Now, let me pause and ask this. Lacey, do you currently have a mentor?
No, I have a sponsor though, but in a different way.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Vanetta, do you have a mentor?
I do have a mentor.
Hmm. Chris, do you have a mentor?
It's how many mentors do I have? It's true
Exactly.
because you may have some in different phases of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So you may have someone that's very career focused
Mm-hmm.
as a mentor. You may have a financial
Yeah.
mentor, right? You may have a spiritual
Mm-hmm.
mentor. And we may not, and I remember when we had talked about mentorship, you may not even have like the formal titles
Mm-hmm.
of them, but they truly are possibly
Mm-hmm.
your mentor.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And let's just be clear, a mentor isn't anyone that's going to make you feel good, right? A mentor is going to give you the honest and the truth, right? Because they have your
Hmm.
best interests at heart. So let's not think that a mentor is like, oh, you look good when you really don't. You sounded good. You really didn't, right? But your mentor is going to have your best interests at heart. Okay, fast forwarding to the next slide, Chris. The cornerstone of personal and professional growth is characterized by the four pivotal C's: counsel, correction, connection, and champion. So we're going to take a look at each one and we'll break that down. So moving on to counsel, they guide the way. That involves career discussion, wisdom, insights, and advice garnered from years of experience and expertise. So I'll use me as an example. Here at PNC, my entire career has been banking. So I've been in banking like, I don't know, 45 years maybe. I've been leading teams, I don't know, 30 something years. So a lot of wisdom, a lot I've done wrong. So I get the right to guide the way to those that I mentor because I can coach them through not making some of the same mistakes I've made or some of the same things that I've done incorrectly in my career. Do I mentor those that report directly to me? I have 12 direct reports right now. I do. But because I've been at PNC for so long, working in our care center for so long, I mentor individuals that do not report to me directly, but it gives, and that's a safe environment because I'm not writing your review. I'm not, in charge of your monetary compensation. I'm just giving you some guidance to help you be better. If you have struggles, you don't know how to say certain things, you don't know how to approach certain conversations, that's where your mentor comes in. There's a young lady that I mentored last year and we worked a lot and she's very shy, total opposite of me. I'm very shy and we work remotely. So you really have to learn how to find your voice when you work remotely, because it's not that you can go into a building and see someone and talk to someone. You're only known by how you can engage. And she struggled because she was shy. How do you take control of a meeting? How do you get engagement? What do you say? Where do you start? What happens if you're talking and no one else talks, right? And so I got the opportunity last year to really work with Muriel and really help her to come out of her shell. And I'm so happy to say she took the coaching. She shared all of her wins with me as we went through the year. And she just found out last week we have this top award that you can go on. It's a trip and I don't know, a whole bunch of stuff. And Muriel, because of taking all the coaching, she's going on the top trip. And I couldn't have been more proud for her. Now, it's a secret. They're not announcing it until, I guess, next week, but they must have told her. And she wanted to tell me because she said, Laura, I just want you to know that all of your coaching has not fell on deaf ears and we got to keep going because I want to learn more. So listen, that made my day. That's what we mean by guiding the way with career discussions and advice, and then listening to the things that one might need. Any questions on guiding the way? Perfect. Moving on to the next C, which is described as nurturing growth. Nurturing growth through constructive feedback. Constructive criticism is invaluable and will guide mentees towards self-improvement. Now, this is where it's a little different. It becomes different. People like to be told they do well, but you also need to be told when you have opportunities. And I don't say do it wrong. I call it opportunities because that's all it is. It's an opportunity. Have you ever seen someone wear something incorrectly and then you tell somebody else who don't even know them, like, can you believe she had that on? Now, telling the person who didn't wear it, how does that help the person who probably shouldn't have worn it? It doesn't. But whenever we're not happy with something, we'll tell somebody else, but we won't tell the person who really needs the feedback. Now, let's talk about feedback for a moment. If you're giving feedback, you have to understand the relationship you have with the person so that they can receive the feedback. One of the things I've had to learn as a leader, so I'm a very direct leader, right? Sometimes when people don't know me, they think I'm mean. Bonetta, am I mean?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I've known you for many years, and that's why I said, well, I definitely want to get on this call because I want to, see what you've been up to. I'm
But I've
excited
been up
for
to.
you.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So some people, I'm not mean. I'm just gonna tell you, I want you to be better. But what I've had to learn to do as a leader is how to really check the temperature of the person before I give them the feedback to make sure that they're in a place where they can receive it. But if you've decided, so Lacey's probably sitting there making some decisions as to whether she wants me to be her mentor or not. So if I'm her mentor and she knows I have her best interests at heart, then she is going to value the constructive feedback because it's not coming from a place of criticism, it's
No.
coming from a place of growth. it's making her better, right? Now, I need to own my piece in it by saying, let's just say Lacey did a presentation. So I'm going to say to Lacey, how do you feel like it went? Now, if Lacey says, oh my God, I don't think it went well. Well, tell me, Lacey, what do you think you did wrong? I'm going to talk her through it and I'm going to give her my perspective. But you got to make it a safe ground for the person so that they can receive that feedback. And if they did it wrong, now if Lacey says, well, I know I was the bomb, I nailed it, and I think she didn't. Okay, so now that tells me I need to take a different approach because she thinks she did really good. And maybe I think she did. But how do I communicate that? Right? So that's why when you pick a mentor, you got to pick someone that has your best interest at heart, someone who is going to um, buy into your development and allow you to do some self-discovery as to what you could have done wrong. Right? Now, if Lacey says, I just didn't do it. Well, Lacey, let's talk about that. Here's what you did well. So we want to always point out what you did well. And here's some opportunities. But here's the thing, Lacey, I'm going to work with you on that. So although I'm giving her feedback, I'm also giving her encouragement so that we can be better. And then we're going to stay the course. Okay? Questions about nurturing growth.
No, you said a lot of great terms here, and I like how you said is nurturing growth. It makes it more positive and able to receive, like you said, the type of feedback. Because if someone is only giving you everything that you want to hear,
Mhm.
you won't grow,
You
you
won't.
won't stretch at all. So I like the term nurturing growth.
Yeah, you won't. Well, and then what? And we let's just think today. We were just started this session with some obstacles that Chris was having with technology. But let's just talk about technology for a moment and how that can aid in our growth. If you got to give a presentation or um, a speech or something, record yourself and see how you sound.
Mm-hmm.
You everybody, we all have smartphones, right? We got
Yeah.
that recording
Yeah.
video mechanism. We take a video when we go folks take videos of food, they take videos of concerts, and they take videos of everything. So why not use that for your own self-development? I do a
Right.
ton of public speaking, but whenever I want to, someone says, well, how much time do I have on your agenda? They tell me I've got 15 minutes. I'm really going to take 10 because I'm a talker, right? But I've got to practice what do I want to say so that I get the points off. And more importantly, that I don't go over the time because there's nothing worse than asking somebody to ask you to sit down because you talked too long, right? Or what points do you want to make? You need to practice saying whatever word you want to say. Typically, when I'm doing a speech, there's always a word I want to use that ties my tongue, but it's a good word. I have to practice what to do with my tongue when I get to that word. That happens because I will say the speech out loud. I will time myself. And then sometimes I have to look in the mirror and see, am I smiling appropriately? Because talking is as much of an art as singing and dancing. Have you ever gone somewhere and someone talking, you're like, what the heck? Are they even engaging? Like, this is just like watching paint dry. I get it. I've been there, right? So if someone asks me for my feedback, you go to a seminar and they ask for feedback, fill it out. They can't get better unless you give them some feedback. Okay, moving on to the next one. The next C is connection. That's called building trust. A sense of trust creates a safe space for mentees to share their aspirations, barriers to success, and vulnerabilities. Once you've developed that strong, safe relationship, then you can be 100% honest with your mentor, right? It's safe. And you can listen, I'm not writing your review, so this isn't going to show up at the end of the year to say what you should have done. I'm just going to listen and I'm going to give you some feedback. But that trust is so critical. You've got to trust them. Maybe you should interview your mentor. Like, why would you pick me? Why would you want to pick me? What's been my experiences? What has been my, where have I worked? What have I done? And if you find someone that matches what you're looking for, then you can build that trust. Then you can be vulnerable with them. You can be honest. I had one of my employees say to me, she said, Laura, you always talk about teamwork, but every time I've trusted someone, they've let me down. So it's hard for me to trust. Thank you for sharing that, because that was hard for her to share that. I said, I get it. But our core value here at PNC is teamwork. So how can I help you move past that? I said I can share with the team how you feel, and that's fair because your feelings are very fair. But we got to move past what happened. The ink's dry on what happened before. We got to move forward. You've heard that saying that your rear view mirror is very small, but your front windshield is very large. Are we going to focus on what happened behind us, or are we going to focus on moving forward? Right? Questions about building trust.
Not questions on building trust, but I wanted to capture what you said as far as the ink. Can you say that one more time? Because I like that phrase. I know I've heard about the rear view mirror,
Mhm.
but I haven't heard a lot about the ink. And that's true for a lot of things, right? Whether that's
Mhm.
related to your
Yeah.
past decisions on
Mhm.
anything, right? Or your past
Mhm.
actions. So,
Mhm.
and I just wanted to make sure I got it down right. I need it for myself, and I could pass it along to some others if you know what I mean.
Yeah, sure thing. I do. So the ink is dry on what happened before. There's nothing we can do about yesterday. Ink's dry on that. If you messed up yesterday, understand where you messed up. Let's not mess up there tomorrow. So the ink's dry on that. You got to just let's move forward. So I think that's what I said. Sometimes I get to going and flowing, and sometimes I forget what the heck I said. So forgive me. But the ink,
You're
and that's
good.
just it. The ink is dry on yesterday. The ink is dry on 2023. But we have a whole year ahead of us. So are we going to do, and that's what we're going to talk about, in my workshop, is we're going to talk about moving forward. We're going to talk about, positive affirmation. We're going to talk about where should your mind be each and every day to make sure that you have a very successful day the rest of the year. The workshop, where it will be, a quarter down of the year, but we still got a lot of 2024 ahead of us. So let's not focus on what we didn't do. Let's focus on what we can do. Listen, I probably didn't walk in February like I should have. My doctor wants me to exercise, but I can control what I'm going to do in April. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then champion advocating for success is our next C. Being a tireless advocate for those mentees' success. Beyond offering guidance and support, mentors actively use their influence, network, and resources to pave the way for their mentee to thrive, right? So having an advocate, when you think about sponsorship, that's individuals that are probably well connected. That's individuals that probably could move things along for you. Sometimes just in the care center, we've got like, I don't know, 5,300 consultants that work remotely. And some of them know of me. But what happens is, randomly, I mean, Laura's busy. If you ever look at my calendar, I am busy, right? I don't have a break. But they'll know someone who knows me and will be like, can you talk to Laura for me? So that's someone advocating, like, hey, Laura, I got a consultant who really wants to know, can you carve out, 30 minutes or 60 minutes a month to work with them, or what does it take to be a leader? So that's someone advocating for them, because they don't just come to me and say, hey, Laura, can you make time on your schedule? They certainly can, but that's hard for some of the consultants to do. So they'll go through someone who knows me, and then they'll advocate for them. Well, this is Laura, they're trying to get there. I know you can help them, right? So who are you advocating for today? So let me ask you, Chris, I'll ask you. I know you're an advocate for so many people. Who are you advocating for?
Oh my goodness. I would say that's an easy and a hard question if you believe that or not. Because I can think of individuals in the past
Mhm,
where as they were beginning their career journey,
mhm,
and but you can notice a certain talent, a certain skill that they have that may not be as natural to other
mhm,
individuals, and that they were genuine.
mhm,
And so, but they may have been too intimidated to speak directly to leadership.
mhm,
Um, and I know this person had to, I'm like, oh, you got to get in front of this individual. they got to know about you, because I could see them, in a different role capacity. So I took it upon myself to go to, at that time was our region vice president. And this was a new district sales leader who just graduated from college, had been in the role maybe about a year or less, but I could see the potential. And I said, "Hey, Kathy, I know," and I think at that time she had like 125 districts, you know, 15 different zone directors. So she had a lot of people who reported to her. And I said, "Kathy, I don't bring a lot of people to you." Okay. And I've been out in the market with this individual. You need to schedule some time with this person. And so, and Kathy, that region vice president, she knew I don't never, bring anybody to her. And she's like, "Oh, if you say I need to go out with this person, I'm gonna make a plan to go out with this person." And sure enough, she did. And I would tell you that that individual was promoted, then promoted again, and then promoted again. So that made me feel good to see that. So sometimes that person who's helping to advocate, they can see things in certain individuals. And like you said, they may not necessarily have direct power, but they do have some influence. For sure. I don't know if I took the long road around, but
no, that was perfect. That was perfect. You identified someone, you made the connection, you put your neck out there for them, and they came through. That's exactly what sponsorship is all about. But listen, and you have to know that if someone's sticking their neck out for you, then you've got to deliver, because it's not only your brand, it's their brand as well.
Right.
Okay. Perfect. Anything else on advocating for success? Perfect. Okay. Moving on to the next slide there, Chris. How is sponsorship different from mentorship? So we sort of talked about that. Sponsors are typically workplace decision makers who can vouch for you and pull strings behind the scenes, which is what Chris just clearly articulated for us that she did. So, Chris, you were spot on. Their endorsement can result in big career gains like promotions, raises, and bonuses. In other words, a sponsor is someone who has the power to push your career growth at work. Well said. So that really, Chris, okay, she did have the slide, but she wasn't referring to that slide. So she definitely nailed what sponsorship was to the T. Do you guys agree? You agree, Vanetta?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And although I can't see the slides, just your saying what's on them,
That's
it
right.
does help.
Okay, thanks for reminding me that you can't see the slide. Are you aligned with that, Lacey?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So on the other hand, a mentor is someone who can help you navigate tricky work situations and give you career advice, but they don't necessarily have the power or authority to directly intervene on your behalf. So while a mentor can guide you as you think about what your next career goals should be and how you might achieve it, a sponsor is someone who can tangibly make it happen. So when you think of who you're connected to, I don't ever want to be the sharpest knife in the drawer, right? I need to know some people who know some people. Okay. So some people like to be the sharpest knife in the drawer because maybe it makes them feel good. But listen, I need some connections. No different than, with me planning this workshop, I need to be connected with people like Chris, like Vanetta, so that I'm able to fill my 25 seats, right? So I have to have connections with people that connect with other people. That just makes sense. I have to have people that believe in just my focus and my commitment to development and making individuals better. So take a look at your circle. That's not part of this presentation, but you want to take a look at your circle. You want to be connected with people that are going to pull you up. You want to be connected with people that are going to stretch you. And we've all heard this saying, take me out of my comfort zone, right? Take me out, but don't just leave me there by myself. Don't just take me out the comfort zone, just leave me hanging. No, that's not what we want to do. We want to expose you to something different. And when I think about sponsorship and mentorship, that's one of the challenges I have for myself as I go through every year. Who am I going to mentor? I'm going to find somebody new to mentor. Who am I going to sponsor? Because then I feel like I'm giving back. Okay. Any questions about differences between sponsorship and mentorship, or any other comments that we want to talk about? Perfect. Okay, moving on to the next slide. This kind of breaks it down. Again, we said it over and over, so I want to make sure that we're clear. A mentor gives advice, helps you out, makes suggestions, suggests ways to get you what you want, tells you to believe in yourself, discuss your opportunities, and says positive things when asked. That's a mentor. A sponsor opens doors, has your back, shares hard feedback, advocates for you, believes in your potential, pushes you to thrive, pushes you to strive for more. And then lastly, creates opportunities for you. That's another way, a very clear way of saying mentorship versus sponsorship. And I do believe you should have both. If you don't have both, that's okay. Ink's dry on what you didn't have last year, but we can control what you're going to have this year. Okay? Questions about mentorship and sponsorship? Okay, last slide there. A mentor will talk to you, and a sponsor will talk about you to others. That is the biggest difference, right?
That's deep right there. That says it all right there.
Right there in a nutshell. We've talked about it 2 or 3 different directions, but a mentor will talk to you. I'll schedule time. We'll talk. We'll go to lunch. But a sponsor will say, I know who you need to meet. The example that Chris gave us definitely spoke to business. This is somebody you need to meet. This is someone you need to see. This is someone that needs to be a part of your organization, right? Okay. What questions, and then that was the last slide. What questions can I answer that maybe have not been answered as it relates to mentorship versus sponsorship?
I would say I'm going to see. I don't know if it's going to let me stop sharing. Okay, over here. I know, like in a lot of companies, and some organizations too. I would say, like some large organizations, there's always maybe a or the chance of having a mentorship program,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but you never hear a sponsorship program. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's a reason. I know, but can you kind of give your perspective on, why there would be so many um, developed mentorship programs? And not to say that there may not be any sponsorship programs, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people may not know about it
Yeah.
as well.
And very fair, because one of the core values we have here at PNC is includes intentionally. And so mentorship gives advice, helps you out, makes suggestions, tell you to believe in yourself, discuss your opportunities, and saying positive things when asked. That's very safe, Chris, right?
Right.
And no matter what your job grade is, no matter what your position is, a mentor, that just makes sense. When you're talking about sponsorship, so let's just say I open a door for Lacey, but then Vanetta doesn't get that same opportunity. That's not inclusive. So I
Mhm.
think it's just more so a slippery slope, because and then we won't even talk about getting into, well, certain age groups gets more sponsorship, certain people of different race it just gets a little murky from that perspective, because sponsorship is tied to opportunities, promote advancement, bonuses, and all that stuff. It just gets a little different. But I will say, if you have the right mentor, then sponsorships will come.
Mhm.
And I think that just makes sense. So me serving as a mentor, I'm a senior leader here at PNC. I know the director of our care center personally, so I can reach out to him. So as a mentor, I can dabble into the sponsorship and keep it safe, because it's coming through the avenues of mentorship. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yeah, you
it
just,
does.
yeah, I think you just don't see it because you want to make sure that everyone gets the same thing. And everybody will just, if you talked about sponsorship, pushing people to the next job, people think you're going to get me a job. No, you get your own job. I can
Right.
get you the opportunity. I can get you the opportunity to interview, but I can't promise you the job. And then, especially when you're talking internal, when I do internal interviews, people come to the interview and they feel entitled. I've worked here for 20 years. It's time for you to promote me. Not so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
not,
Yeah.
not so much. And so you get that sense of entitlement. I'm just entitled to be here. I'm entitled to be promoted to the next level. Did you earn it?
yeah.
Let's talk about
Mhm.
that. you know
Mhm.
and so that's where, or when I look, when I interview people internally, they have some of them have very little preparation. They had access to everything, versus when you're external, you got to go to the website, you got to look some stuff up. But when people interview for jobs on my team, I'm like, well, did you talk to anybody that knows me? Because we got teams and you can go in and see the hierarchy and do a little research on me. No, no, I didn't. Okay, so you just came to the interview because it's just next. I was a consultant, so I should be a team leader. Not so much.
Mhm. Mhm.
Not so much. But that's why, Chris, I think you don't see it because I think it can get a little murky, and I get
Right.
it. But if you have the right mentor, that's going to open doors for sponsorship.
Absolutely. No, thanks for sharing that, because I know sometimes people may, think that, again, like they're the same thing, and they're not.
Hmm.
And so you can seek out a mentor.
Hmm.
You may not be able to seek out and request a sponsor
Hmm.
directly, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah. But if you got a good mentor, because mentors know people. I mean, I know people, and you never know. And this is a great example of how paths will cross. So I haven't seen Vanetta in so long. Vanetta and I used to be at the same church, right? I see what she's doing. You just never know, right?
mhm,
So, and she immediately came in and was like, "Hi, Laura, it's Vanetta." You just never know. That's a connection. That's a connection, and that's what it's about. It's always connections. And then what are we doing with those connections, right? I was out a couple months ago and ran into a gentleman who used to work for me, and he's doing very well. He's branched off and got his own State Farm insurance office, and he's doing extremely well. And I was able to connect with him. It was a great connection. We talked about some things. He wants to support, my workshop, all because we had see, and that's like a sponsorship. So he's gonna
Mm,
sponsor somebody
right.
from that, but that came from my connection because I served as his mentor once upon a time, and he's doing well. So we just have so many opportunities we can take advantage of. Got to get out of our comfort zone. Got to stop doing what we have always done, and we've just got to reach out, get mentors, and get connected. So,
Awesome.
yeah. Any other questions or any feedback? Was this helpful?
yes.
What you say?
Very much.
This
I know,
Because
but
the connections and stuff.
I'm sorry.
this
Go
was
ahead.
really a good workshop. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get out the office and move at the same time here. This was a really good workshop, and I was wondering if the slides are available.
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
so what I can do after we're done, I will send you all the deck, so that you can view the deck. And then this recording, once we get it all uploaded, we'll have it uploaded to our website within the next week or so. It should be up there. But at least you all will have the deck immediately to kind of go through. And then Laura did put her email in the chat, Lacey. So I don't know if you had a chance to see that.
I got it.
And
You could.
good, good, good. So this was an awesome, awesome workshop, and it's something, it's important for women to know. This is Women's History Month, International Women's Day, and it's important that we understand this because men been doing this stuff for years. Hence the word mentor. Okay, I won't say any more than that, right? But it's not something that naturally come to women in most cases, right? Regardless of the type of work environment that you're in. So it's important to understand mentorship and how to leverage it. You don't have to wait on a design program to have a mentor. and to understand how your mentors can help influence your future sponsorship. So it's important to know that this is part of a good strategy to have for your career. And not to even think just about career in the work sense, think also if there's anything personally that you'd like to get involved in. Sometimes we only think of these things in a work capacity, but if there's other organizations that you're interested in being a part of, it's the same thing. Right? It's the same thing, those roles and responsibilities. So thank you, Lacey and Vanetta for joining. Laura, thank you for outstanding.
I have
Oh, go
one
ahead.
question,
Mhm.
and you may have already answered it, and I may have missed it in the elevator. Is it possible for one? I'm assuming that it is possible for one person to be both a mentor and a sponsor.
Oh yeah, I definitely.
Would you advise someone to have a person that is both? Does that seem like that is asking a bit much of that one person?
Good question, Vanetta. And also, Lacey, I know you had some comments too, so we'll come back to you before we adjourn. But no, Vanetta, I serve as both a mentor and I serve as a sponsor. So you can do both. And it's okay to have both. And I think we started this session off with Chris saying she has different mentors. It's a mentor for work, it's a mentor for finances, it's a mentor for spiritual. So it's definitely okay to even have multiple mentors depending on what role they play, right? So that's okay. And when you think of sponsorship, I play both roles. So if a person is tell them my age, I'm old now, right? I turned 60 this year. So because of
1964 was a good year, girl. That is not, you are not old. It was the best year. Understand, 1964 was the year.
It was the year. And with that 60 comes wisdom, right? So because I have wisdom and because I have been around and because I've had so many experiences, that affords me the opportunity to do both. So
so yes. You do both for that one person. So you can be that one person's mentor as well as sponsor.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that can definitely happen.
Yeah, but not everyone can do both. It just depends on where you are. Because 64 was a good year and I'm experienced and I've been around, I can. And you can be younger and mentor someone, on some things. But because of, I think, where the person is, their connections, who are you connected to, who are you involved with, that allows me to do, but it's not an automatic thing. Does that answer your question, Vanetta?
It does. It does answer my question because I thought about it because I just texted one of the young ladies that she told a group that we were with a couple of days ago that I was her mentor. And I didn't actually give myself a title like that with her. But so I just texted her and asked her if she considered me her mentor or her sponsor because I have, where I see potential, where I see the opportunity for growth, I've opened doors and say, hey, this is who you need to meet with. This is who you need to talk to. Keep going. Go ahead and go toward that PhD, all of that. And she texted back about 15 minutes ago and said, you're both to me. I said, okay, well, I'm glad I know what I am now. So.
And what I know about you, Vanetta, you definitely can serve as both because of all the things that you do. So that makes perfect sense. Yeah. Okay. Lacey, you had a comment.
All I was saying was when you were asking for feedback, I like that you broke both down in multiple ways. Like I drove probably 2.5 hours today. Drove around, did presentations. I am very tired, but there was certain things I'm going to remember even being this tired. So I like that you did that. I like that you put like where mentorship could take you to sponsorship with the connections. Like it's all in a row. It's easy to understand. So I appreciate that.
Sure thing. Thank you for the feedback. Okay, awesome. Chris, over you to wrap it up. Lacey, you'll have my text. You'll have my text and my email. I just need to go get my chicken out the oven.
Hey, you go eat. I'm gonna go eat. I'll have an email for you later.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you for joining today. Be sure to look out. We do have 2 more workshops in the month of March. So be sure to either go to our website, where if you're connected to us on LinkedIn or Facebook, we tend to post a lot of our workshop activity coming up. So we hope that you all have a fantastic evening, a fantastic St. Patrick's Day weekend. Be safe. And then
Absolutely.
there was something else. Oh, it's the last day for if you're going to do vote by mail, vote early in person also this weekend. So it's a very busy weekend. So just enjoy it. And we appreciate you joining us this evening. Thank you and have a great night.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Chris.
You do the same,
Bye-bye.
and thank you for having this
Bye.
workshop. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you
Bye-bye.
for joining. Bye.
Bye bye.